croyez que c'est par hasard que nous sommes ici, à l'immeuble des Nations Unies? Vous croyez que c'est par hasard qu'on est ici? L'argent, le luxe ne sont pas plus importants que l'amour et la confiance, par exemple.
Naturaleza, este momento, naturaleza está enferma. Vemos que no está enfermo, pero sí está enfermo.
人類絶滅すると思います、このままではね。
Yo pienso mucho de la madre tierra porque está vivo eso.
त्यो बुझेपछि पछि चाहिँ काम लाग्छ भनेर हामीले त्यस्तो सिकाएर अहिलेको मान्छेहरूले हामीले त्यो सिकाउँछौँ क्या
Para la gente que no vea la verdad, tenemos que hacer ya.
Hello everyone, welcome to Simulation. I'm your host Alan Sakyan. Very excited to be talking about the 12th film and so much more. We have two of the 9 co-founders of the Ciel Foundation joining us on the show, Olivier, Girard, and Sophie Monpeyssen. Hello, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hi.
Well, we're very grateful. Thank you for having us. It's great.
Thank you. I'm so excited for this conversation. Thank you. Thank you. Olivier, Sophie, thank you. Okay, let's give a background to those that don't know. Olivier and Sophie are 2 of 9 co-founders of the Ciel Foundation, which is a UK-based charity focused on reconnecting humanity to nature and bridging wisdom traditions with modernity. Their first film, The 12, released on July 12, 2019, gives a voice to the 12 elders who met in December 2017 at the United Nations headquarters to co-create a specific ritual for humanity and planet Earth. You can find the links in the bio below to cielfoundation.com and the12film.com. Okay. Such a powerful trailer, such a powerful film. So blessed that I was able to come and watch it twice with you guys during screenings in San Francisco. It was so good I had to go back the next day to watch it again. And that trailer definitely does just so many powerful thoughts there about going back to simple truths, about money not being more important than love and trust, about reconnecting with nature. Teach us about this film, about your foundation in this film.
We have to start by the foundation, you're right, because the film is one of the 4 first missions of the foundation. The foundation was created by 9 people, like you said, 9 individuals from 5 different nationalities. And the common point, the denominator, is a spiritual path, a spiritual journey that has taken all of us to be part of the same tradition. And you know, throughout our journeys, our spiritual journeys, throughout the different rituals that we did, or different dreams, or different visions that we had, we were given a life mission, each one individually. And when we realized, or when we fully integrated the enormity of the missions that we were given, we realized we couldn't do it on our own. So we decided to collaborate fully and to help each other, you know, achieve our missions in this lifetime. So that's how the Ciel Foundation was founded. And it was founded also around certain principles and values that we were given by the traditions that we are coming from, and by our huge respect that we have for wisdom traditions in general. We really think that wisdom traditions hold a huge amount of keys for our society. So that's for the foundation.
And so one of the co-founders, Peter, received this mission through a series of dreams. And so it was so vivid and so real that he had to make it happen. So it was our first mission because of that. But we realized during our trips and when we were screening the film that a lot of people have received the same messages. So it's really funny to realize that we are all able to receive, and it's like a broadcast, you know. And at some point, you take it and you go for it.
So you haven't defined the first mission.
The first mission is the Council of 12 and above. So this mission is to gather 12 elders from all over the world at the United Nations, and it happened in 2017. And it was about recreating a blueprint for humanity, for us to be able to reconnect ourselves to our true nature, to nature, but also to realize that we can't do anything without our planet Earth. So let's be in tune with her, in harmony with her.
And so the film was the natural continuity, because all the people that actually helped us and all the people from the foundation were so amazed by the level of generosity and integrity and humility of these elders who, you know, for most of them traveled really out of their comfort zone. Most of them never went out of their, you know, hometowns, and then they had to take the plane, come to New York, which is a pretty hectic city, as you know. And we were so fully grateful and in respect of that the film came naturally as a mission to, you know, spread the messages, give speech, give a voice to these elders so that they can tell their truth to the Western world. And then, of course, the film talks a little bit about the ritual at the UN and how this all happened.
Yeah.
You are so cool because you've now done the thing that I think so many people in the world are desired to happen, which was to get these elders together and put something beyond us into the future blueprint that will hopefully reconnect us to our origins, to nature. And not only does you two of the nine, you function like an organism, and I love that about the way that you've taught me about how you work together, all the way to how difficult it was to travel to all of these places, to go there with we operate in such similar ways in the sense of our account has just barely enough money, if not it has a void, and then we can just pay it off at what we need and then go to the next. So you guys were doing the same thing with your plane tickets, just not enough to go, then enough pops in and you go. And sometimes you don't even have a connection to the elder in that area yet.
Absolutely.
And so, and then you have to get them to come to New York. And there's trust building that has to happen with this whole process, taking 240 hours of film that you've collected and bringing that down to 75 minutes is the film length?
77, yeah.
77. These are very, very complex things. And I think it's really important when you watch this 77-minute film to realize all of these hard components that you've put in your energy into to make it happen.
But we feel really grateful because it was a real journey for all of us. We learned so much about ourselves and about the world we are living and the one we would like to live in. And every experience has been taken so strongly in ourselves that because of that we feel now that we are able to do more, we can give more. And the most important is to be able to, through this channel, being able to give back to the elders, because they have so much to give to us.
Yeah.
They are working for humanity day and night. They are fantastic. They are so dedicated. So it's time now maybe just to hear what they have to say. They are just love.
Yeah, and you know, first of all, yeah, they did the whole blueprint thing. We just got them to the UN, right? And then the rest is, the blessing in that is that we're just instruments, right? We're just letting the universal plans actually happen, because the universe has perfect plans for us. We're just in resistance of that, you know? We're fighting very hard for these plans not to actually happen. But when you let it, you know, when you let yourself go into being fully guided, then the purpose kicks in, and then what happens is absolutely magical, and it's so powerful that you need, you know, to acknowledge that the plan is perfect. What is planned for us is absolutely perfect, and so that to me is the most unbelievable learning, when you have to let go for a full year, and as you were saying, function as a unique organism, meaning you have to let go of your personality somehow so that you function as a whole, and that means you know, to let go of a lot of expectations, lots of beliefs, so that you can actually function at such a level in terms of vibrations that things come to you, and that when things come to you, you're being constantly tested by the universe. Are you actually motivated enough to keep on letting go and keep the universe guide you? And so you're tested all the time. And that group dynamic has been an amazing experience, because I think it's way more difficult to do it alone, you know. The group thing is something absolutely crucial, that we've learned from wisdom traditions as well, you know.
Yeah, they really believe in communities. They really feel that we are something, but we are nothing also at the same time. So maybe we can create a little empire for ourselves, but what it is going to give to the world? Nothing. So they are looking at their choice and their free will with the lens of, is it going to be good for people who are around me? And is it going to be good for the planet? Mm-hmm. So those three aspects are really important. And they're also looking at, is it going to be good for the 8 next generations?
This part's so beautiful, to think of every decision with 8 generations out. Is this going to be good for them? Yeah.
Yes.
That's the actual definition of responsibility, through the lens of integrity. If you're responsible, of course you're going to think 7 generations ahead, you know. It seems natural. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, responsibility for each other, for the planet, for the future generations that don't have a stake in the conversation today, but that they really want a sustainable place to live. Yeah.
That, and also, you know, because those in those traditions, I mean, the younger generations are as important and as active, because they, you know, they're conscious. So they co-create by their thoughts, by the way they speak. It's not just about action. It's when you create, you manifest this reality. So by setting an example of, you know, taking every decision 7 generations ahead, of course you set the example for the younger generations, and you set up a culture where things are clear, transparent, in integrity, and interconnected, of course, because everything is.
How many generations have been since the pyramids of Giza? You know, 4,500 years. You know, so like when that's what we're talking. Can we make things that transcend our own timelines? On the planet, that build a beautiful. Well, I want to hit on a couple things with you guys. There's within the blueprint, it's in many ways the ancestral wisdoms that are being communicated from all different parts of the world are saying the same thing, that we have disconnected from nature, and because of that we have so many of the issues that we have in our world. When children are born into metropolises, there's light pollution, they don't ever see the stars. Just go to a grocery store, purchase food, and don't even have hands in the soil growing food ever. That these disconnections from understanding and the gratitude for the air, the water, the food, the interconnectedness of it all, is a recipe for dysfunction in our world. And so I think that how then does then that tie into what the blueprint, that dysfunction that we just mentioned, how does that tie into what you have to that blueprint?
So what the elders did on the spiritual plane is all about potentials. It's all about probabilities. It's all about opening quantums so that out of 1 billion directions that we could take, we are most likely guided to the few directions where things go better. That's what they did.
So they shifted our state, our potentials. If there's a billion options and maybe some of the trajectories were a little bit less ideal, they shifted it towards the more ideal trajectories.
Yeah, that's what we think they did.
They told us, from the beginning that we have like 5 to 6 years to change our way to behave. And so their goal with this ritual was to give us a lot of possibilities to be successful, meaning that it's not to go in a revolution from one point to the same point, but it's to find a way for human beings to go in a state of evolution, to create a new path for all of us. And so this journey has been created in the spiritual level with the elders 2 years ago. And so now it's just about what we can do in our pragmatic and practical world to take everything from the spiritual and to create for us to grow.
In this physical.
It's all very inclusive, right? The ritual in itself includes all humanity, but now these elders and all the wisdom traditions, they're turning to us and say, so now let's take responsibility, let's all the potential that has been created, let's have it trickle down and actually manifest in this world. And that's what we're trying to do with other projects that we have, such as the Holistic Vision Symposium. We're trying to manifest in this reality a culture that includes the values and the spiritual sacredness of the wisdom traditions, and sacredness being something that is absolutely not dogmatic or religious. It's just connection. Connection to nature, connection to the universe, and connection to your true nature. And so, of course, they're always extending helping hands because there's so much to learn from them, but they're expecting us to take action. It's not just about a ritual and then things will change by themselves. We need to take action, and we firmly believe that the action needs to go through collective intelligence. We think that the clustering, the actions in silos is something that is old paradigm. We need to take responsibility and start by the fact that we need to acknowledge our own impact on this reality. We need to discover the spiritual dimension of the constant creation because of your thoughts, because of your words. It's not just about the actions you do. It's about the way you wake up, the way you behave the whole day, and it needs a constant vigilance in our kind of societies because you're so triggered by so many things. With a change of cultural perspectives or cultural environments, things could get easier, including community work, because community is the best safety net in terms of humility and integrity, we think.
It's about that. It's realizing that we are all interconnected, and not only into human beings, but also with living beings and obviously the earth. So as soon as you are interconnected, you can feel the other one, and you can be in communication and create together. And creating together is fantastic.
And there's a thing in our society now. The words are perverted. A word like spirituality has been perverted, but even community. Community is used somehow as silos, people getting together and then sticking together because they have common interests, and then they feel different from the others. We're talking about community of the living, right? So that includes everything. This guy is part of my family, and hopefully I'm part of his. So community should be so opened that it totally changes the stakes, that the filters that we see things with at the moment.
Yeah, it's about collective and cooperation.
There's a couple things here. One of them is that this overall blueprint, the shift in the possible outcomes of the trajectory of Earth in a more positive direction, that then there needs to be, like we were just describing, these changes that happen in the physical world. So our co-creation, not in silos, but together, in harmony with nature. And then projects like yours. So you have the 12th film. Now this holistic
Vision Symposium.
Vision Symposium is another one so teach us about this project, and then maybe this project can act as and the film and your other projects that are in can act maybe as blueprints or somewhat of ideas for other people to see as things we can build in the physical world that can help with the shifting of the trajectory.
Absolutely.
So the first phase of the Holistic Vision Symposium happened in Barcelona last November, and we took the same blueprint as the council. So there were 12 groups. Instead of 12 people, there were 12 groups of 12 people. And in the middle, there was the above. So it was the group Sacred in Reality, meaning the elders from the council, working to instill in every topic the connection, the connectivity, for people to realize that if you are working on integral health, you have to find the connection also with the sacred, not only with the physical aspect of yourself. And the integral health can't work without the water topic, or without the permaculture topic, or the community, or the love and righteousness. So it's about really creating a platform, a council, but with 144 people from all over the world, from 38 different countries, working as one to work on solutions to help humanity to move forward and to maybe find a way to get rid of their issues with the planet and with themselves, between themselves. And so they worked, from then, they worked on a platform to put together the project. And the next symposium is going to happen in Barcelona next December.
Yeah, the Holistic Vision Symposium is based on two essential principles for us. First, the fact that you need to see everything in a holistic way, because everything is interconnected. So you need to look at the global picture and realize that you can't solve just one thing isolated. You need to see and perceive all the environment and all the different issues that come with it. And then to be able to come up with solutions that are actually sustainable on several generations, then you need to instill the sacredness in there. And the sacredness is just those values, the love, the integrity, the responsibility, the joy, the evolution. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. And then principles that those traditions can give us about the actual fabric of reality. And quantum physics really are getting closer and closer to fully reuniting with the divisions of these traditions, because we're talking about the actual fabric of reality. So if you want to come up with solutions that make sense, you need to understand what's happening behind the scene, behind what's happening in your brain, and how the brain presents how the world is for you. So these are the two strong principles of the Holistic Vision Symposium. And we're aware that it's just a template, and that there are many people in the world who could actually enhance what we've set up as a starter and make it even more efficient and optimal. So, again, collaboration is essential. This is very open, and the solutions that the group came or are coming up with will be open sourced and shared. The goal is to be scalable, shareable, and affordable for any community in the world. That's the big aim.
Yeah, for us to come together and even in the film, there's a moment where the elders are talking about the importance of feeling the connection to the interconnectedness of everything. And once you do that and you feel that and you know that, then everything changes. Everything changes in your essence, in your spirit. And that, to be able to have settings in the physical reality that we live in, where we can congregate people to tap into the interconnectedness, where we can think about the earth as a living organism, just like our body is this beautiful piece of art. The earth itself has organ systems. It is a beautiful piece of art, and they're interconnected, just like ours are. And so to have these awakenings is critical for the collective to be able to make the moves 7 generations out. Let's also explain about the so many different countries, places on the planet where the tribe. You guys added such a good amount of humor too into the film, and I'm so happy that you did. Pulling into Manhattan, and it's like there are no trees here, and things like.
It was a shock.
Yeah, there was shock. Yeah, and yeah, very similarly to the two from Botswana, saying that we eat from earth. Now, if you don't have money, you die. And it's these moments that you can be put so simple. Their wisdoms are put so simple, and we come back and ask them questions about these wisdoms. But Botswana, Gabon in Africa, Japan, Alaska,
Colombia,
Mexico, Colombia, Nepal,
Australia.
I
think we're good.
Yeah.
There's so many that
So we have to be clear. The film, or the Council of the 12, they're all elders from wisdom traditions, but they're not representing their tradition or their people. Or we were brought to them, and maybe we'll talk about that, how we were brought to them at one point. But we were brought to them because each of them embodies a very specific spiritual key. The 2 elders from Bushman are joy and simplicity. The elder from Japan is determination and precision. The elder from Mexico is the womb of creation. So they all have that spiritual key that they fully embody. When you're with them, you can feel the vibration, the exact vibration of joy or precision. It's full on, right? And so by coming together, these specific keys just clicked in together in a perfect, puzzle, and that opened up the vast potential that they had access to when they did their ritual and sent their intentions. So we often have the question, why these countries? Why isn't there someone from my country? And it's not about the country, it's about the individuals. And this is for one council. I mean, it doesn't mean that there couldn't be any other council in the world doing exactly the same thing. This one happened, and it happened with these people because they were meant to do this one ritual. And that is important for us to precise. It's not about representing anything, it's about representing a specific quality. And of course, a huge amount of humility.
The keys was so cool that each of them have this key. Yeah.
So if they are so simple in their way to express themselves, it's not because they have a simple mind, but it's because it's really well organized. Meaning that they are embodying the primordial tradition. They have no dogmas. What they received is direct from their own connections, from nature, from their direct experience. And there's one thing for sure, we haven't found the fear. You know, the fear quality in those tribes, it's like it's not there, because it's about love, and fear is the opposite of love. So everything they are doing is a new experience. You are losing, like Sensei Aoki from Japan, he lost all his family during the war. He's not saying it was a big trauma, he's saying it was my biggest experience. When the two Bushmen are sleeping, you know, in the airport, they are not, oh my God, I could break my leg. They are so, it's so much joy, you know?
Yeah.
And it's about how also you are going to put your step forward and what you want to create in your life. Is it going to be about fear, or about anger, or is it about joy and simplicity?
Mm-hmm. And there's you were talking about interconnectedness, and people have maybe it's hard for them to understand what what could be the actual consequence of that. But if you make it very simple, when you actually understand and experience the concept of interconnectedness, you're not alone anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, because your soul is overstressed by the feeling that is produced by your brain of being alone, being different from the others, and you're so very alone in this world that you're in fear, you're in sadness, you have all these negative sentiments and feelings that are due to this belief that you're all alone. When you tap into interconnectedness, you're never alone. You could be the only man on the planet, you're with the planet, you know? Mm. And that is the biggest, maybe the biggest difference between being in separation and feeling interconnected. It's the happiness. It just comes with the package, because
yeah.
So it's almost as though then the children that are born have the full connection to the interconnectedness, and then the kind of the more artificial like things like metropolises that we built potentially like do things like fragment their connection, their interconnectedness, and so that's why it feels as though when we go to do things like, now science says forest therapy, you know, this like, oh, you can go and decrease your stress levels by going to the forest. It's like, oh man, most people when we go out feel a deep interconnectedness to source, to nature, to where our origins are from. And when you do things like go and talk to the elders, and they say this, which feels as though it's been here with us and it's been forgotten, and that's what it. Yeah.
They really have access to a pit of knowledge, and what they are giving us now through this film, but there's other initiatives around the world, and they are all truly fantastic. Because it's really time to move together now with the same goal and the same aim. But what they are telling us is we can act differently and being happy. We can act differently and feeling better. So.
Yeah, and this, in our position, we're really, and you said it, we're not about going back to huts and living in the forest. Well, I'd live in a forest, but maybe not in a hut.
Not in the ice cave, let's say.
Exactly. So the goal is to actually, there is a possibility of reaching a truly beautiful modernity that is just connected to what's happening, and that modernity. When you go to Australia, they tell you that when you're born, and this is what you're saying, when you're born, you have hundreds of abilities. Hundreds, more than 300. Mm-hmm. And then through conditioning, through education in Western school, through parenting, or through whatever happens to you during your life in traditional or in modern societies like ours, you forget all about these things because you're being told that it doesn't exist. So all the things that when you're a kid you know that you're able to do, then everyone is like seeing your invisible friend, and all the adults tell you, yeah, it's gonna pass, and it does pass. And then you get to the point where you're an adult, and then maybe you have one ability, or maybe two, and you don't even know about it, and there's nothing you can do, right? So how about a modern age where we get full access to these abilities?
Yes.
We meet a lot of people who are into biohacking, and then this is all great, this is all very exciting. Mm-hmm. But there is the true biohacking is going back to that knowledge and not being conditioned into forgetting what we can do in our true nature, and of course not being the victim of food systems and
yes.
whatever kills the actual physiological ability to that our perfect body has when it's born,
And it's also to get rid of the last addiction maybe the humanity had access to. It's this compulsive way of wanting more spirituality. So going from one ritual to another one to find more experience. Instead of being in the present, living the sacred time you have with this sacred plant or the people around you to work with. And after that, integrate it, meaning it's taking the lessons for what you got. So instead of, okay, this weekend I'm doing that, and the weekend after, and I've heard about that, I want to do it. It's where you are going to go because you are called for it. Mm-hmm. So it's about hear what you can hear into yourself and get rid of all the desire from the others. And at some point, you have access to what you have to do. And maybe it could open much more knowledge for everyone.
Yeah, people are all craving for visions, but the true spiritual lessons are in little details in the daily life. Yeah. What you get in visions might take years to actually integrate and understand, but you understand them through things that are given to you on a daily basis. Very little details that you need to be vigilant for. So that's the beauty of spirituality. It's not about being hammered, through an experience that is going to leave you shell-shocked for 3 days, and then you get to another.
Yes.
It's something way deeper than that.
Even in our images, right before we started, we were talking about how the tripod is the same tripod that we have here that you used as you traveled, same brand and whatnot, and those. Some people call, beautiful synchronicities, these spiritual lessons that appear. Other people say these are just, it's just, mathematical, and sometimes they align. When they don't align, you don't mention them. When they do align, you do mention them. There's these, so there's always this, spirituality tries to push an edge of knowledge and understanding, and then science kind of creates a container of hypothesizing it and then trying to prove it. And I think that that science and spirituality will work more harmoniously moving forward in the future.
Yeah, totally.
I want to also just mention what you said earlier, these keys, and how joy and simplicity were a key, and the womb was a key, determination was a key from the different elders, and I love those. It's like that. If we can become masters at these skill sets, that that we come through with this purpose that so many people feel like they're disconnected from their North Star, from their purpose, and how can we, like we're saying, how can we co-create a collective social fabric that enables more people to connect with nature as well as connect with their purpose on a frequent basis, on an every human gets that basis, and this is this thing that keeps occurring on the show. We have guests and we talk about co-creating this collective future, and then we have to go and build it in the physical world, and it's very difficult to figure out how to we got to build a system that obsoletes the old system, and entices people to come and partake and play in the new system. And so things like the film, things like the Holistic Vision Symposium, and things like other people are building. I think these are the things that we're building in the physical world that catalyze instead of just a 5 to 7 year spin that stays in the same place of suffering, but it goes upward. The trajectory goes upward.
Yeah, for that, there's a first step is to just stop 1 minute and stop relying on someone else or on something else, and accept to be on our own, and realize that when we are on our own, we can maybe receive some messages.
Love it.
So technology can be fantastic. It's super important to have great tools, but how we are using them is the most important. Having a phone and doing things, emails and everything, great, but every time you can be on your own, just stop your phone.
Yes.
And be with yourself. And sometimes it can be a great void, and sometimes tensions or frustrations or emotions can really wake up. Looking at them, accepting them because they are part of us if they are coming through. So just looking, accepting, and realize that, okay, now what do I want? What I want is that. And really to be cautious of what you want, because what you want has to be simple. And it's also, the masters taught us that during the council, is also when you have one intent, is not to say, okay, I want to be joyful, but to be joyful, I need to be married before this time, and at this point I will be joyful. If you want to be joyful here and happy here, you have to put the intention to be happy, and after that to leave the flow guiding you wherever you have to go. And at this point you are going to realize at some point that the journey you had to access to your goal was already with happiness and joy.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
the
I
void
think
is so important in space, for messages.
Like Sophie is saying, it's all about the direct experience. If you want to change the world, start acting. But you don't start acting, you don't start to change the world like that. The foundation is those values. All right, I know there are positive values that would change the world. I'm going to apply them in my daily life and be in integrity with it. Look at myself, apply those values, or sometimes not apply those values, and when it happens, then try to change things. And through habit, through being in integrity and really doing it, you can see the world changing around you. You can see your entourage.
Yes.
This is the first way to act. We're talking about the science, the probabilities, and about synchronicities, right? When the only thing that you can say to that is that when you have a synchronicity and you begin to acknowledge it, not saying, well, it's just a coincidence, but actually name it and say it's a synchronicity, and this synchronicity has a purpose. It is telling me something. And try to learn from it or act from it in guidance with this synchronicity. Then what happens is that those synchronicities, they multiply. They come just more often, and then they're constant. And that is a mathematical model that is absolutely exponential. That proves it's a proof of concept. It's not coincidental. If you have the right culture and the right, apply the right amount of lessons, then you vibrate a little bit higher every day, and then synchronicities just start happening all the time. This is something that you cannot, undermine under mathematical theories. It is, right?
Yeah, the goal is really to be, and after that to be able to do. So to do is not to say, oh, this one has not done that, so I don't have to do it, The goal is to recognize what you have to do and to do it, even if your neighbor is not doing it, without judging him, because who cares, It's his thing. And that's the importance also of the community, is as soon as you are, and you don't need to be recognized by anyone to be, at this point you can do things and realize that doing is going to teach others. It's not about teaching, it's about doing. And if you do, people are going to be, oh wow, it work. Let's go for it.
So we, through our thought and into action, in guidance towards our North Star, we can identify when we become more and more aligned with our purpose that these little, potentially these little spiritual indicators that we are more and more aligned with our purpose show up, and we stay vigilant and pay attention to them, and then more and more doors open up. We continue going more and more towards the path. So beautiful.
Yes. We just need to precise that this comes with a part of letting go. So
yes,
without any expectations, because the path is not going to be what you expect, and the gifts and the guidance are going to lead you through, hoops that you wouldn't have gone through 2 weeks prior. But as you let go and you understand the concept, the whole process of, if I let go, whatever happens, I take it as a lesson, the outcome will be better than what I could have done. Because again, the universe is a better planner. It plans on things that are way more ambitious that we can fathom in our individuality. So it comes with an amount of letting go. You told it at the very beginning. The way we found those elders was through total faith.
Tests of faith.
It wasn't just about the money. It was we have no clue of who these people are. There's 7 billion people in the planet. And even though we were heavily guided by the elders themselves and of course the eternal, the universe, when you get when you have to buy tickets, you have no money and you don't know who you're going to meet there. And then you just take the plane, you get to the airport, and then you just are being led by people that you meet on site, that are being thrown on your path. And then to get to the actual elder, you have to complete maybe 2 or 3 tests as a group in terms of integrity, because letting go in our society, it puts a lot of tensions. It puts a lot of pressure on a group. Because marching at the same pace in the same direction and vibrating constantly at a sufficient level, when everything in our world is supposed to be planned and expected and booked months ahead, and is putting so much pressure that you're constantly being tested on that, on faith, and then on love for each other, and then you're expected to grow, because all the tensions that appear, you're creating them as a group and as individuals. So define them and then work on them so it doesn't happen in the same way, or you can transform them and grow out of it and take lessons out of it. And then you're like, okay, that test is through, boom, you're meeting a new person, maybe I know the person that you're looking for. And then you go through another test until you're there, and the elder tells you, well, welcome home. We've been expecting you. The amount of letting go is not easy every day, but it's absolutely satisfying, because again, the way it's planned is absolutely mind-blowing. The amount of magic when you live your life like that is much more higher than the amount of stress and tension and fear that can be generated just by the process, right? Yeah,
the fear is usually what you've created inside of yourself. And so we had that during the film process, because Lucy, with the filmmaker and the co-director, and also co-founder, was resisting a lot, and also had all the, when you are a filmmaker, when you are creating a film, it's really with step, and you have to do things with the right milestones. And we couldn't do that. We couldn't tell what we were going to do the day after, or where we were going to go. And so everything was about being spontaneous and being free. And it was a beautiful process. And we had that also in the post-production, because when we decided after that the film is going to be given for free, but for months we were thinking maybe we should find a distributor, maybe we should find a distribution way to do things. And it was not coming to us. We were okay, nothing is happening, until the point it was so obvious. Yes, this film is for everyone because it's the elders and it's knowledge from the elders for humanity. So it's for everyone, so it has to be free. Mm-hmm. And that's why we decided to translate it in 7 different languages before the launch, to be able to spread the word more and more. And we are asking also everyone who's going to look at the film to, if they want to translate it in their own language, to let us know. And it's a film of everyone.
Yeah, the Lucy. I mean, Lucy has so many stories about how hard it was as a filmmaker to actually, all right, we're leaving tomorrow. But even the theme of the film, when she signed up for it, she was sure it was going to be a film about nature. So she was going, on trips to film nature, and then one elder after the other, she started, and she tells that story, so I hope I'll do it justice, but she started realizing that, these elders, they were saying kind of the same thing, and they were saying very deep stuff that resonated with her. Uh-huh. And throughout that whole process, at one point, she realized that the theme had totally changed. It was about the elders, it was about connection with nature, but through a spiritual lens to it. Uh-huh. And then she had a groundbreaking experience in Colombia, I think, where she realized that the negative feelings that she could have for herself and keep for herself, because the elder told her, she realized that even if she wasn't, communicating about her negative feelings, even if she wasn't, throwing everything at everyone's face and really keeping them for herself, she realized that it was going straight to the earth.
And to the universe.
And to the universe, because they absorb everything. And at that point, it was groundbreaking for her. She said, I need to stop feeling sorry for myself, because this is actually affecting the earth and the others. And it was a really profound revelation for her, which helped her way more on the way for the rest of the film, because at the end, it was absolutely crazy. The stories and the amount of letting go on the trips. It was
this story about not having the room at the United Nations as well until just a couple days before. 3 days beforehand, and you 9 had to work together as co-founders in.
So we were not 9 because Lucy was traveling with the Botswana. So we were 8.
That's right, it was
and
8.
So we were all together, and we realized at this point that we didn't get that room yet. After 1 year of people telling us, no problem, you are going to have it tomorrow. And everyone was supposed to arrive the day after, so we really had to move forward. So we decided to stop our phones and computer, just to look at what was happening. And we realized at this point that the theme of the year was unity. And because we were really working together so well, we thought that we were in unity. And at this point it was obvious that no, if not, we would have had that room. So we decided to put everything on the table for 8 hours with a lot of tears and things. And at some point, it was like everyone was in peace, and in peace with the others also, and feeling really this, it's not even a sensation, it's like a connection of unity. And at this point, it was a cloudy day. The sun opened up. We were on a blue sky, so we were onto something. So we opened our computer, and we received the hour before an email from the Ecuador Initiative, and they were telling us so nicely that they were really aligned with what we were doing, and they would be happy to give us the room and also the security pass. So it's about working on ourselves to have access to what we want to have.
Yeah, you need to be in flow. And as soon as you're not in flow, as soon as things are not coming back, to you, then you have to address it. It's something within yourself. And it wasn't just the room at the UN, it was the venue at the assemblage for the first day. But it was also visas.
Yeah.
We had the elder from Siberia was stuck in Korea to get a visa because, of course, if you're Russian, difficult to have a visa for the US. And then the Botswana guys, maybe a day and a half before that happened, were still stuck in Botswana trying to get visas.
Yes, we had to fly them from the Lesotho.
Yeah,
yes, they flew to Lesotho to have access to their visa, and they were not even sure that they were going to have it.
And that's the beauty of the process, because you could think, well, they found the masters or they found the elders, so everything's going to be, in flow and everything's going to happen. And until the last minute, you have tests.
Yes.
Just to, and those tests are not punishment. They're indications that you're not in flow. Or not sufficiently, or that there's an opportunity for you to learn something new. So it's all good, but it can be stressful.
I love the tests of faith on the journey to the North Star. That's so important, and so many of us face that. And to see it in a positive lens, in a growth-oriented lens, in a lessons-oriented lens, and a test of faith lens, I think is so crucial. I want to ask you both: does it, when we look at what's happening on this planet on a macro level, does it, from both your perspectives as well as some of the elders' perspectives, does it seem like there is a fight happening between light and dark forces, between evil and good forces?
It's maybe not a fight. It's about a balance. Everything in the universe is about balance. So it's the right amount of each one, and they have both to be here. That's important. And so right now it's really about looking at where we are at and realize that the state of the planet is the state we are too, because everything is fractal. So all the bad things we are doing on ourselves, meaning the bad thoughts, all those things, not taking care of ourselves and everything, if we're doing the same to the planet. So to be able to shift this paradigm, let's begin by us first. Let's respect ourselves, respect what we have to do, what we have to embody. And at this point, the planet also is going naturally, like by chance, to recover, because we are going to change our behaviors, because we are going to be centered and aligned.
Yeah, the whole fight between light and darkness is separation again. It's a human concept. Everything dances in the universe. Light and darkness are in a dance. They're very close partners, and they're very much in love. The moment we acknowledge that we all have darkness within ourselves, that it's a possibility of growth, that and it cannot be all light or all darkness, and it's a subtle balance, then everything has a meaning, everything makes sense, so there is in our feeling definitely an imbalance, but it's not about evil, it's about ignorance. It's the root cause is that separation between the sacred and the material. In the film, Master Atom talks about it with Hippocrates, the doctor. He says he was a very spiritual person, but then his students only took the physical side of his teachings and left and that is very symbolic of a modern age. That unification between sacred and material is absolutely necessary, and is as necessary as the dance between light and darkness.
Yeah. It just at so many times seems like the dystopia and the utopia are in the field of possibilities, and that we need to do more things like the blueprint and building in the physical world ways to connect deeper to the interconnectedness so that we can go towards the more utopic future, and that it doesn't seem like it's guaranteed. It doesn't seem like a civilization's guaranteed. It's collapsed before, and that it doesn't. So we have to embody action into the world. To guarantee.
Nothing is guaranteed. It's about us now. What we're going to do, and what do we want to give as a legacy to our kids. And that's super important to realize that we're at a turning point. If we are so many people more and more aware, working as one, even if we are working in different organizations, respecting and promoting the others, it's only because it's a special time. And it's now we have to wake, we have to be on it.
Yeah, and it's not about, it can be about, but it's not only about big things.
No.
You know, these elders, they took an individual step. They just followed to New York and then did their ritual. It was never about, you know, filling up Wembley Stadium and doing something tremendous. They did it in humility, very discreetly. The UN wasn't aware at all that this was happening. Everything was really, you know, private. And so to us, of course, I mean, if we keep on individually putting all the responsibility of change on the others and on organizations, on governments, then we're screwed. This needs to, the change needs to come from the base and go up. It needs to come from us individually. And so if you're asking what kind of actions can I do, change yourself. Start with that, you know, have a daily or weekly moment for yourself to actually look yourself in the mirror and see what you can change to embody positive values that will change the world. By doing so, you are in action. And if everyone or a number of people, because there's a tipping point, we only need 3 or 4% of the overall population to actually change for everything to tip into something else. That's mathematical. There is a theory on that.
That amount of people that are going towards positive change,
who actually embody fully those values of these cultures and are highly conscious, they could tip everything, you know, and energetically. So it's feasible, but people need to start by themselves, and because when they do so, they set an example for their kids. They said, you know, giving that gift to your kid, that culture, is way bigger than giving him a college education. It is something that will change their lives forever and will change the world. Doesn't mean that they don't need to go to college. Of course they need an education, but they need a set of values that our culture doesn't provide. Our culture is all about brainwashing those kids and us in the same package, and not make them think of these values. Our culture is about wanting more, about being greedy, about being, and we can feel, and that's why we all need to be very optimistic, because you can feel that it's the right time for that change. You can meet, when you start doing those little things, that little work on yourself, then you meet more and more people that are exactly on the same path, and then at one point you're getting goosebumps because you know that we're millions that believe that it's feasible.
Yes, 300-ish million need it.
Exactly, and we're living in that time. It's so exciting. We have the possibility to change things.
And the beautiful things also they taught us that, the elders, is the fact that everything you are changing into yourself, deeply, not only the behavior, you know, but deeply, you are implementing that in your lineage. So everything you are learning as a quality is going to go directly to your kids. Even for you, you don't have anything to do, it's going to be directly to them, but also to your ascendant lineage, your parents, grandparents, even if they are not here anymore, you know, their soul are still working. And so you are implementing in your lineage all the qualities you can learn and grasp and integrate during this lifetime. So it's quite something.
Yeah. We got this. We got this. And okay, July 12th, worldwide release of the film, and already in 7 different languages.
Yes.
And the potential for people to set up viewing parties to watch together. It's very much so like a communal experience to have with people to like talk about afterward too.
Yeah, we want the experience to be like the ancestral fire, you know, that you all gather in a circle around and then talk for hours and you know, do the telling of the stories. And so we really want that film to be accessible so that people can make it theirs. So yes, it will be available for streaming, will be available for downloads in 7 languages, and the downloads will include a filmed Q&A, a more extensive written Q&A, and then maybe guidelines to organize your own screenings, and maybe something else. We're thinking about programs for kids as well. So
I love that.
So that they could actually, you know, watch the movie and then interact with it. But the goal is for people, as soon as they resonate with the film, they spread it around. They share the link, but they also organize screenings of their own, and they have a community experience around it, because we guarantee, we've been doing 3 months of pre-screenings. We guarantee that the experience of watching this film on a proper screen with a proper sound with people is tremendous compared to watching it on a laptop with headphones. The different, it's exactly like in meditation. When you meditate alone, not the same thing than when you meditate with 150 persons. The level of vibration is not the same. So we encourage people to actually live that experience. And we do so by providing at the same time a community platform, where they'll be able to pinpoint on a map where they're organizing screenings, and then have those community slots be fully open to dialogue, so that people after seeing the movie can actually exchange, and then they can exchange, you know, in between communities all around the world. And hopefully that will build the start of a collective intelligence, meaning people getting drawn to action can actually start engaging as communities and come up with solutions that are local or that are global, whatever, you know, their aspiration is. But the biggest problem for us about the Sustainable Development Goals, for example, is that it's very difficult for the common people to embrace those goals. It's all about institutions, about, you know, global objectives. We want people to consider those goals theirs, and that, you know, from communities to communities, hey, how can we address, you know, Sustainable Development Goal 6 about water? What can we do locally together, and how can we find solutions that, you know, take into account what these traditions say about the values and principles? How can we instill that in so that we're sure the solution will be in integrity with the rest of the universe? You know? So that's what's going to happen with the film at launch. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, and there's already to donate to your future endeavors is available. Also to donate to all of the different indigenous tribes themselves, and because they themselves have done incredible things preserving their lineages through your help. So things like that are really important. Also, all the extra content that you have, those 240 hours we were talking about, to put those into, because I saw little bits of stuff that wasn't in the film in some of the trailer sequences, that
little nuggets,
the extras, the nuggets,
right?
And those nuggets make me so interested in, you know, in even the full length interviews with all of the indigenous leaders. That would be so cool. So I'm so really excited for that content, and trying to please help fund the Ciel Foundation.
We have a hope that, you know, as the film is free to download, we have a hope that people will understand that, you know, giving a buck or two could, you know, take us really further on the road with all our projects. You know, we really think that this film should be available for free. But then anything that, you know, can help us is fully welcome. We need to precise also that all the co-founders of the foundation are not being paid to do this. It's part of the values and the principles that we embody at the foundation. So nothing comes in the pocket for the moment. Maybe one day we'll see. And yeah, any help is absolutely priceless for us.
Yeah, and it's not only about people who are looking at the film. If companies wants to help,
Yes.
we can do great things with companies also.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and other foundations, since we've been we were a not-for-profit not so long ago, but now we're a charity. We're a big boy
so we have
or a
hope
big girl.
now.
So now we can actually exchange with the foundations as well.
Because we were so helped, you know, the 2 first years, it was about our savings and some personal funds around family funds, and they were so just amazing. But now we would like to do that, you know, to expand a bit more and to be sure that it's not always the same who are supporting the projects.
True.
Because they
Very
are for
true.
everyone at the end.
Yeah.
You're massive role models for me and for so many others. So we're very grateful
Well,
to have.
thank you for that. We don't feel that way at all, because, you know, we're having discussions here about the template, right? About the optimal way to be. Well, again, it's difficult. You know, we're having days where we're not that optimal, and we're not that in flow, and we're in doubt, and we're
Faith being tested.
Exactly, and it's part of the process. You cannot be, you know, at your highest level all the time. Otherwise, you'd be enlightened, right? Which is the goal. But it's one step at a time, and that's I think the biggest tool that we have. One perfect step at a time, asking your intuition or your connection what is the right thing to do, not the good, not the wrong, the right thing, in integrity. Just one step at a time, and then you know,
The next perfect one.
the next perfect one, and then life gets kind of magical. It does.
Yeah.
But life is hard, and it's part of the magic.
Yeah, because we are here to learn. So we need tests to find the solutions, to embody them, and to have new tests. So it's constant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The spirit leveling up on its way to the North Star and having the challenges as lessons along the way. You know, Ron and I have had our fair share of of challenges that we've gotten through on the way, and big lessons, and it's been really beautiful seeing them as that. It's like in spiritual code. It's beautiful to see it that way.
And you've talked a little bit about what you've been doing, you know, those past month and years, and we're very grateful for that as well. I mean, it's all part of the same big human project. So thank you for your active participation, both of you, in this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for having been in the flow to have access first time to the film. You know,
You have to tell that story. It's
It was
amazing.
like 1 hour before.
No, not even 1 hour. The first guests were already there.
The first guests were there when I called.
So he told me, okay, you have to hurry up. At this point, people were arriving, and my phone rang, and it was you saying, okay, Zez told me that I should meet you. And we were, okay, come. And you arrived with your bike on top of this hill. You were so
up
courageous.
the hill.
Yeah.
Biking in San Francisco is mind-blowing to me. I mean, it's crazy.
And it was amazing to have you at this screening. So your flow is great.
Thank you. And so good that he had to come back for seconds on the next night. I love it, and bring other people.
You know, the first screening or the first screening tour in the US, we had people follow us for like 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And it was amazing because, you know, we totally vibrated with them, but they were feeling good with the group dynamic, and they were totally aligned with it, so they just stuck around, and we spent like 3-4 days together. It was crazy good.
there have been so many people that have said to you that they've had this vision, that they've had this, and you did it, you executed it, and I love that. And when we first met too, that there was this deep appreciation for ancestral wisdom, and that we ourselves have been fortunate enough to at least start interviewing some of the ancestral elders, and you guys have been doing it. So you're doing that in the film form, we do it in this interview form. There's a lot of cool synergy that I feel that we've talked about feeling moving forward. So what a powerful conversation about the film, about you two, about the foundation.
Thank you so much. I mean, I had a great time.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. Yeah, you did. Hey, it was great. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you
And then,
Sophie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olivier. Thank you. So grateful for you both.
and thank you to all of you for
Yes.
watching. Thank you so much, and
Yeah.
hope you'll enjoy the film.
That's right, that's right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on what we talked about in this episode. Also, do check out the links in the bio below to the Ciel Foundation as well as the 12th film. And go and watch it. Set up the screening parties. Go and set those up. Treat it like those ancestral fires that we used to have. Treat it like that. And have more conversations with your friends, your families, coworkers, people online on social media about ancestral wisdom and about building the new changes that we need in our physical world for the next steps that we co-create together. Support the artists, the entrepreneurs, the organizations around the world that you believe in. Support the Ciel Foundation. The links are in the bio. Support them. Please support them. Support us. Help us continue doing cool things like the show as well. All our links are in the bio below. Thank you, Ron Vargas, for producing and directing. We greatly appreciate it, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. And go and build the future, everyone.
Yes.
Manifest your dreams into the world. We love you very much.
Bravo.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Thank you.